What is up, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of the Classic Chronicles. I hope you guys enjoyed my last vlog where I covered NXT Stand and Deliver. If you haven't checked that out, please do. So, with that being said, let's get it on, and get to the main event of this weekend, which was Wrestlemania. It took place over two nights, Saturday and Sunday, um, and it will continue to do so from now on. That was an announcement made by WWE earlier this week. So let's just get right into it. Let's cover night one first. So kicking off the entire event, the Usos defended the SmackDown Tag Team Championships against Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. It's unfortunate that an unfortunate incident took place. Rick Boogs went to double lift the Usos and blew out his quadricep muscle on his left knee and his meniscus, and he will miss about 8 to 12 months of action. So speedy recovery to Rick Boogs, and as a result of that injury, the match had to be stopped early, and the Usos ended up retaining the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Next up, you had Drew McIntyre taking on Happy Corbin. So Happy Corbin hadn't been, formerly known as Baron Corbin, hadn't been defeated in about 8 months. So the storyline was where he was down on his luck, poor, and just looking for a break in WWE. Where when at SummerSlam weekend last year in Las Vegas, he hit the jackpot, and that kind of turned his luck around, and he became known as Happy Corbin, and he got paired with Madcap Moss, formerly known as Riddick Moss. And the two have been a thorn in the side of the Scottish psychopath and former two-time WWE champion Drew McIntyre. So Happy Corbin and Drew McIntyre went one-on-one at WrestleMania, and Drew McIntyre ended up uh, ending Baron Corbin's Happy Corbin, I should say, sorry, his modest undefeated streak. I believe they said that Drew McIntyre was the first one to kick out of Happy Corbin's end of days finisher. Uh, I'd have to do some research on that, but I will take their word for it as it is right now. So Drew McIntyre ends up getting the win there. Next up, it was the Mysterios, Rey and Dominic, father and son, taking on The Miz and YouTube superstar Logan Paul. You know, I have to say, I'm not really a fan of celebrities coming in and stepping into the ring. You know, they have a lot to prove if they choose to do that, just like Bad Bunny did last year, and Logan Paul is filling in his steps this year. So Logan Paul was very impressive. I enjoyed watching him wrestle. He's a great heel. He and The Miz ended up picking up the win over Dominic and Rey Mysterio in a great back and forth match. And at the end, The Miz turned on Logan Paul. So it'll be interesting to see where that feud goes, if it goes anywhere. So who knows what we're gonna do here, there. Um, okay, let's see. No, okay. Next up was the Raw Women's Championship. Becky Lynch defended the Raw Women's Championship against Bianca Belair. Now the storyline here was Bianca Belair had went into SummerSlam last year and was supposed to defend the championship against Sasha Banks, but Sasha Banks had a medical issue going on, so she can make it for her title defense, and Carmella stepped in her place, and they went one on one for the. They were supposed to go one on one for the SmackDown Women's Championship, uh, and uh, and Becky Lynch ended up um, coming back and replacing Carmella, and defeated Bianca Belair in 26 seconds. And throughout the year, Becky and Bianca would cross paths several times. They would both get drafted to Raw in this past year's draft and continue their feud there. Becky Lynch ended up becoming the Raw Women's Champion, and sure enough, their paths crossed at this year's WrestleMania. And it was a great back and forth match, as expected. Both women brought it, with Bianca Belair finally getting the Duke over Becky Lynch, man. Becky Lynch hadn't been defeated in quite some time. I don't even remember when was the last time she took a pinfall loss. So props to Bianca Belair on becoming the new Raw Women's Champion. Yeah. So, okay. So now here is the moment of one of the moments of night one that everybody was talking about, man. Seth Rollins was taking on was chosen to go to WrestleMania and take on a mystery opponent of Mr. McMahon's choosing, Vince McMahon. But he told Seth Rollins that he wouldn't know who his opponent would be until he was in the ring. So, Seth Rollins did his usual entrance, had the whole crowd singing along to his theme song, and was waiting in the ring for quite a while. And sure enough, there was lots of speculation on who it could be. Several superstars teased them being Seth Rollins' opponent, but in the end, it ended up being former WWE superstar and returning superstar, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. So Cody Rhodes is back in WWE, former AEW TNT champion, 3-time TNT champion. It was a great match. And Cody put on a very, very good match. And I'm excited to see him back in WWE, and excited to see what he does this time around, man. Wow. So yeah, here it is, man. Cody Rhodes back in WWE, man. After that, you have the SmackDown Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair defending against Ronda Rousey. To be honest, I really didn't care too much for this match. It went on a little too long for my taste. Charlotte Flair ended up getting the win over Ronda due to questionable tactics, and yeah, man. So Charlotte Flair is still the SmackDown Women's Championship, and it'll be interesting to see where Ronda goes from here. The night one of WrestleMania closed with the Kevin Owens show with a special guest, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and after a lot of back and forth banter about the state of Texas, Kevin Owens finally had to answer to Stone Cold Steve Austin, proud Texan, and Kevin Owens said, "I didn't come out here to talk. I came out here to fight." And sure enough, I thought, to be honest with you, to me and the surprise of probably everybody else watching and in attendance, the fight that I thought they were going to have actually turned into a 20-minute no-holds-barred match. So Stone Cold Steve Austin had his last match, had his last match in WWE almost 19 years to the day of his loss against The Rock at WrestleMania 19 in Seattle, Washington, which we thought that would be the end of him, but Stone Cold Steve Austin gave us one more ride in Texas. Interestingly enough, he started his career in Dallas, Texas, and he wanted to finish his career in Dallas, Texas. So that was a really, really nice surprise, man. Stone Cold Steve Austin won with a Stone Cold Stunner, and it was a great way to send everyone home happy, man. What I found hilarious was throughout the whole match, Stone Cold was drinking beer while whooping on Kevin Owens. His own beer, by the way, Stone Cold IPA. I'm no Stone Cold American Lager. I'm sorry, I should say. And I found that kind of hilarious that Austin was drinking his own beer while on the job and whooping on Kevin Owens. So it was a great way to end the first night of WrestleMania, man. And then as Sunday night was night 2 of WrestleMania. Was still some more great matches on the card, and we're gonna get to those in 1 second. Okay. Sorry, 1 second, guys. Let me just get everything here. Sorry for me to keep up with all this. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so to kick off night 2 of WrestleMania, Triple H came out and said and welcomed everybody to night 2 of WrestleMania. Night 2 of WrestleMania was Sunday night. So Triple H came out, welcomed everybody to WrestleMania, and left his boots in the ring. As you know from last week's vlog, if you checked it out, I did an entire career retrospective on the game, and he was forced to retire due to heart problems, and he left his boots in the ring. Well deserved send off for the game, man. In the first match of the night, of night 2, you had RK Bro, the team of Randy Orton and Matt Riddle, defending the Raw Tag Team Championship against the Alpha Academy, Chad Gable and Otis, and the Street Profits. And RK Bro ended up retaining the World Tag Team Raw World Tag Team Championships over the other two teams. And at the end of the match, RK Bro and the Street Profits wanted to do a WrestleMania toast to the hard-fought competitive match that they just finished engaging in. But the Alpha Academy's Chad Gable ended up breaking that up and was confronted by the newest Raw superstar, Gabe Stevenson, and who proceeded to throw Chad Gable halfway across the ring with a belly-to-belly suplex. So that seems like it'll be Gabe Stevenson's first feud on Raw. Excited to see how he does. Former two-time NCAA division champion, heavyweight division champion. So he is nothing to mess around with in there. Okay, so after that, you had Bobby Lashley versus Omos. Now, this match was kind of put together at the last minute this past Monday night on Raw, where Omos said there is nobody that can stop him in the ring, and Bobby Lashley proceeded to come back for the first time since Elimination Chamber, and it was almost dominated most of the match, but Bobby Lashley ended up getting the win in the end, surprisingly, by hitting a spear to Omos's midsection and knocking the wind out of him, and Lashley took care of business there. And then Omos's almost year-long undefeated, year-long undefeated streak. He was just dominant, with the tag teaming with AJ Styles and then going on a singles run. He was just dominant. But Lashley put an end to that. And then you had then in the third match of the night, you had an anything goes match with with Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville. Now this feud was all kinds of fun, man. Johnny Knoxville it was up to his old tricks, giving out Sami Zayn's number and him, getting all kinds of calls and text messages from random people. And, but the actual match was super, super fun. Johnny Knoxville was playing all kinds of tricks on Sami Zayn, uh, putting him, hitting him with, all kinds of props from the Jackass movies, and some of the Jackass guys interfered. You had Wee Man coming in there, Chris Pontius. He had a few interactions with Jasper from the Jackass crew and all that. So it was a pretty damn fun match. Johnny Knoxville ended up getting the win, and it wasn't your typical Dave Meltzer 5-star classic, but it was still fun and entertaining nonetheless. Uh, okay, so next up, you had the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships being defended in a Fatal 4-way with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan taking on Natalia and Shayna Baszler, Naomi and Sasha Banks, and the champions Queen Zelina and Carmella. Sasha Banks and Naomi ended up getting the win in a very entertaining matchup and becoming the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. So major congratulations to them. Let's see. Oh, and then you had my one of my favorite matches of night two, AJ Styles versus Edge. Man, it was everything that you expected and more. I'm digging the whole new heel side of Edge. His theme song is awesome. The Other Side by Alter Bridge, it fits the persona perfectly. The entrance was amazing. His tribute gear to The Undertaker was amazing. He ended up getting the win over AJ Styles after hitting him with a spear after Damian Priest came out and distracted AJ Styles. So it looks like Edge and Damian Priest will be forming a new stable on Raw, and I'm excited to see where that goes. And so next up, you had Vince McMahon. You had the New Day, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston taking on Ridge Holland and Sheamus. Man, it was a very very quick match. The Ridge Holland and Sheamus ended up getting the win after a distraction by Butch, formerly known as Pete Dunne, the Bruiserweight in NXT. Uh, and it was also nice to see the New Day's gear, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston's gear, as a tribute to Big E, their fallen Conrad, who suffered a broken neck earlier this year at the hands accidentally at the hands of Ridge Holland. So it was very nice to see his New Day brethren pay tribute to him with their gear. Very quick match, like I said. So, and then next up you had Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. That Pat McAfee is a hell of a commentator. I enjoy his energy on commentary, and he's a hell of an in-ring competitor, man. He said that he started training when he retired from the NFL as a punter, and he's one of those guys that takes his wrestling training very very seriously, man. And I respect him for that. It was a hell of a match, back and forth match between Austin Theory and himself. Pat McAfee ended up getting the win, and after challenged Vince McMahon to get into the ring, and Vince McMahon actually did get in the ring and had a matchup with Pat McAfee, and then Vince McMahon actually won that match due to a outside distraction from Austin Theory, and at the end of that, Stone Cold Steve Austin came out and stunned Austin Theory, and then stunned Vince McMahon, and then after Pat McAfee was sharing a beer with Stone Cold Steve Austin, he got a stunner too for his troubles. So Austin was just stunning everybody, just having more fun like he did the previous night at WrestleMania when he was against Kevin Owens. And then the main event, of course, was the winner take all match for the WWE Undisputed World Heavyweight Championship, which Roman Reigns ended up defeating Brock Lesnar and taking all the gold. He is now both the WWE champion and the WWE Universal Champion. So it'll be interesting to see how long that goes on for before you know before separate champions are once again established. All in all, it was a great WrestleMania, the best in several years. WWE knocked it out of the park. If every match with the exception of one was very very entertaining. I enjoyed mostly everything. But yeah, let's see where it goes next year when WrestleMania goes Hollywood again in Los Angeles for 2 straight nights. So I can't wait for that. So with that being said, that's gonna do it for this vlog. Like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.